Aloha. I'm here on August 1st. Saturn stops today. And I heard last night, sadly, some Hawaiians and other people were arrested over on Maui for protesting a huge monster telescope on their mountain. So first, a big mahalo for you folks, all of you who help protect our Aina. Rollin Frost here, born on the same day as Ben Franklin. More from Ben later, and I'm going to play out Saturn. Saturn stopped today. I'm going to judge myself. I'm judging astrology, and I'm finding out some very interesting things. Sometimes if you can't join them, you can't beat them, join them. Play out a little judgment when Saturn stations. Anyway, business first. That's what Ben would say. We're going to do program 977 and cover the last week in August 2015. So I know you're working on a nice new moon at 21 Leo, trine Uranus. I'm going to start clearing up some things about Uranus and the imperfections of astrology. And some of the reasons that I'm going a slightly different direction. There is a full moon coming up for you Saturday on August 29th at 6 Pisces, conjuncts Neptune. And Neptune, is scared of astrology. Here's, the movie stars, here's the priests, here's the doctors, here's the chemical companies, the oil companies, the religious people, here's the Pope and the church. Yesterday on the History Channel I discovered, they burned 50,000 women for witchcraft. Yes, in Europe, the Inquisition. So I don't trust Neptune at all, and you'll see what comes up in the month following August 29th. That's the month of September. Neptune has to do with liquids, so there's sure to be some concerns about flooding. Or at least about too much water, or about pollution of water or fish, or things of that nature should come up with a full moon on Neptune. Anyway, what's it like for us coming up in this next week? Let's do some day-by-day astrology. Remember, this isn't your chart. And if you know your chart, you know where your rising sign is, you can do a lot with this. But this is like the general chart, huh? Here's the Earth in the center. Here's the Sun. And lo and behold, the Sun is over here with Jupiter. Now as you start where you're at right now, it's at 27 Leo, the Sun. Still trines Uranus. And it's conjunct Jupiter. Jupiter's at 2 Virgo. So in 4 days from where you're at now, 4 or 5 days, the Sun will be right on Jupiter. Lightning bolts of truth. People will laugh without knowing why. The difficulty is that there's a square to Saturn. And I'm here on the day, August 1st, that Saturn stops, and boy is he heavy. What was noticeable to me is that Venus finally lightened up a little bit. The girls are smiling. There's a good feeling about sex again. Whew. That was like 5 days after the Venus station. I was dismayed because Venus disappeared. I guess she knew that square to Saturn she was laying for her. Anyway, Mars is here. See, Mars is going from 8 to 14. Venus is going backwards. She's going from 19 to 15. So Mars will be at 14, Venus at 15. At the end of your next week, you'll have a Mars-Venus conjunction. Mars-Venus conjunction. Whoa! Ben wrote in his almanac, when Mars and Venus in conjunction lie, young maids, whate'er have asked of you, deny. Anyway, so there's the Sun Jupiter. It's gonna, it's a remarkable feeling. It's almost manic compared to the depressive we got now here on the 1st when Saturn stations. It's cold, it's depressed, Saturn contracts. Well, Jupiter expands, and he can be a clown too. So you could say this is a week of clowning for you folks, for all of us. But more than anything, Here's a lot of enlightenment with Uranus too. And I've sure had my fill. Ha 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 ha. Now, towards the end of next week, the sun gets to 8 Virgo. Another day, that'll be Sunday, Monday. A week from your coming Monday, the sun will oppose Neptune, and you won't like Neptune much. Bad smells. Let's take a look at it day by day. We're going to run the moon around the edge of the planetary pattern. I see these planets like actors on the stage, like Shakespeare says. And we know their personalities. Now, as the moon moves around here, it contacts some of these actors, and they stand up and act out, huh? Sometimes it squares them like 90 degrees, and it irritates them. And here's the moon going by Saturn for you. Yeah, it's going to be on Saturday morning, and into the middle of the day, the moon's going by Saturn, and everybody's being a Grinch. And who are the victims, you know? Well, let me go back here. Here you are back here on Thursday. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Saturn's so strong right now. Thursday morning on August 20th. Here's a square to Mars. Everybody's angry, pissed off, irritated. You know, you're not getting the physical work done, are you? As soon as you figure out what work there is to do, the anger will go away. Thursday night, here's a square to Venus. An early Friday morning. Not much sweets. Doesn't feel sexy at all. There is a conjunction to the old new moon here in the middle of Friday, which just makes for a little added emotional exaggeration. These full moon, new moons points. Mercury's happy. Kids are happy. Communicate. Get out and walk around Friday. Moon's in Scorpio Friday night. It's the one thing that goes very nicely. Walk the dog. Saturday morning, the moon's still in Scorpio when you start out on the 22nd. And Mercury's still happy. But that conjunction to Saturn, you know, get organized. Pretend you're the Grinch. Cut the budget. Get Saturn-like. But judge not, lest ye be judged. Yes. Saturn, it can be very judgmental. There's a square to the sun here, too. Saturday's kind of a mess. Saturday, the first half of the day, ugh. And you don't get to feeling okay until real late Saturday night, about midnight. Finally, there's a trine to Mars from Sagittarius. And I'll get out and do something physical. Take the trash out Saturday night. Whatever. But, you know, don't get too heroic Saturday night, because here's Sunday morning. This is probably 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. There's a square to Neptune. And there's confusion, and there's delusion, and people are lost. And there's problems with liquids already, huh? Ugh. Saturday night, Sunday. It's enough to make you insecure, because here's Sunday night, there's a square to Mercury, and you don't want to go anywhere, and don't feel like talking. And good, don't talk, because if you're not too busy and your mind isn't going, brr, 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 here's Venus, and Venus is in trine to Uranus. Hooray! So here's some pleasure and some brotherhood and some enlightenment, and here's a smiling Benjamin Franklin and Santa Claus instead of the banker, you know, and the rich guy with the... Anyway, Saturday night, real mixed bag, huh? So lousy communication, great for some lovingness of a high intellectual nature. You still feel it Monday morning while the moon's in Sagittarius. It kind of gets better and better as you go through Monday. Into Monday night, here's a trine to Jupiter. Aha! Now I see it clearer. Late Monday night, here midnight, there's a trine to the sun. I'll make a plan and act on this. Quite inspiring, huh? You learned a bunch of stuff Sunday night, Monday morning, and then you saw the truth of it here Monday night. A lot of wisdom floating around. Sometimes you gotta watch old Jupiter there, you know, the lightning bolts of truth can sting. Here's a sextile to Neptune Tuesday morning. The moon slipped into Capricorn. When you wake up, feel more organized and more managerial. And here's some inspiration. You know, it's about noontime here, the sextile to Neptune. Sensitivity, nice stuff. Look out, though. Here's Pluto. Here's before dinner, around dinner time, the moon conjuncts Pluto, and that can be startling. Eek, a bug! Little panicky things. Or territoriality. Man, the cats outside are fighting over territory. It's really scary when you hear them scream. Pluto, the reptile brain comes out in us. You know, is that a bug? Up, step on it. Poor bug. Anyway, policemen, guns, sharks. Pluto. Sextile to square to Uranus is early Wednesday morning. That's probably 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You're still startled by the sudden noises. You went on defense Tuesday night. Is that volcano going to go off? Is that a policeman out there driving in our neighborhood? There could be some glitches. Some folks could have real trouble here. This is your old Pluto-Uranus square, and the power goes out. It's recovery happens nicely Wednesday afternoon and evening. Here's a nice sextile to Saturn. Now we got organized, and a nice trine to Mercury. Everybody's talking and walking, and the kids are happy, and there's no reason for that little panicky feeling Tuesday night, was there? Or Wednesday morning? Nice settling down. Late Capricorn, huh? This is where my son is at 27 Capricorn, and Ben Franklin's son at 27, Muhammad Ali at 27 Capricorn, and the Pluto in the USA chart is at 27 Capricorn, which all comes together and makes me and Ben kind of critical of certain things, like guns. I had an argument with a young man last night. I said, I screw all the gun issues, you know, with your power and all your... Just outlaw small guns, concealed weapons. Outlaw all pistols. Make all long guns legal. Take away the pistols. That's from police and from FBI and from all the Secret Service, from everybody. Nobody gets a pistol they can conceal and walk around with. That's out. Oh, the young man just went off in all kind of defensive postures, and I couldn't shut him up for 20 minutes. He's got a license to carry in his state. Oh well. Anyway, 27 Capricorn is trying to settle down a little bit here. Maybe there could be a little gun control. But, you know, it isn't gun control, it's pistols. In the hands of everybody, law enforcement and gangbangers, everybody. So take them away from everybody, and we'll be a lot safer. The whole thing's dumb. It comes out of the movies, all this handgun crap. Excuse me, I did handguns. 45 pistol team in the Army. But I was raised, you know, the little cowboy in the backyard with a cap pistol. Oh boy, we're all brainwashed into this Pluto, this gun thing, and can't seem to get loose of it. And there I've had my say. And you'll feel it Wednesday night. Nice sober assessment of this whole thing on August 26th. Thursday, the moon's in Aquarius, and the vibes change. Much more intellectual. Feel a little more alone, huh? It's not a very social time because the Mars-Venus conjunction is here Thursday night, but the moon's opposing it. And Mom says, you're supposed to be here eating, and instead you're fighting with your girlfriend or your sister or your boyfriend or your... What's all this social thing? And everybody's ticked off at Romeo and Juliet here Thursday. So, word to the wise, guys. And, but here's Uranus, Friday morning early. This is 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. You got a moon sextiles Uranus from Aquarius. Flashes of insight, hooray! Things could happen. Again, much more of that high intellectual... What is astrology, anyway? I watched all day long Ancient Aliens, you know, and they're talking about all these things that are all really astrology, and they refuse to use the word. It's astronomy and mathematics. And you know, there's a general no-no about the whole matter that's astounding to me. That, well, you know, age of Aquarius is still kind of changing and morphing into itself. But the old stuff's going. Friday night, here's the square to Saturn and the opposition to Jupiter, and you feel stuck, and there's rules and regulations and laws. Is this a nation of laws? No. It's a nation of common sense, Uranus. We have Uranus rising. Common sense was the name of the original revolutionary literatures. The people tell you we're a nation of laws are the idiots who make laws and expect everybody else to toe the line. Laws stink. Tell that to the people on Maui or on Mauna Kea. You know, somebody makes this law and says, well, we're going to take you to jail. You didn't follow the law. Sorry. That's Saturn, see? Lines and signs and laws and people in suits and ties. And, you know, you're going to be pretty fed up with it by the time you get to Friday night, August 28th. Seeing it is to disarm it. That's the key. But it's total confusion. Everybody's got it wrong. Everybody's hating authority on Friday night. And it could burst out into all sorts of drama here on Saturday because, you know, the sun's opposing Neptune and the moon goes by it and there's a full moon here. And, you know, all the religion. I hope the gay people got all their colorful flags off the streets there. Got your way, guys. Sit down for a while. So who's this? Neptune. A lot of the Neptune folks have been quieted down. Is this about oil? Is this about pollution? Is this about chemicals? Is this about drugs? Is anybody going to talk about the drug war amongst all these politicians? Oh, we just keep the blinders on and slurp up your chemical food. Eek! That's Saturday. Bad smells, craziness, losing things. Watch the liquids. Saturn is not... Oof! This is a bad lineup of tough planets. Starts Friday night the 28th and goes all the way through Saturday. There's no control till after dinner with a sextile to Pluto, the moon in Pisces, sextiles Pluto at 13. And finally, some control. You don't need a gun to get that control. No, you don't. Sunday, the moon's still in Pisces, so slowly settles down. And here on Sunday night, the 30th, is a nice trine to Saturn. Oh, all the signs and lines and laws aren't so bad, are they, Sunday night? Oh, well, you grow up with them, you get used to them, huh? Here's a little sideline you don't know. Ben Franklin's Almanac was on every shelf. The only book more prevalent in America was the Bible, but Ben's went 25 years with it. Oh, yeah. Now, he was born with the sun at 27 Capricorn like me, and there's Pluto in the U.S. chart. So Benjamin Franklin's sun was on Pluto. Now, Pluto is all the neurosis we have. It opposes Mercury, the ruler of Gemini rising in the U.S. chart. We are Mercury. We're a mercurial bunch. Well, the government is. What's the problem? We got Pluto opposing us, the ruler of the 6th house. Those are police with guns. Originally, this Pluto was slavery. Slaves, Pluto, black folks, were the servants, the ruler of the 6th house. And they wouldn't stop. And all these aristocrats who made our aristocratic government, run by aristocrats for aristocrats, frankly, purporting to be for the people, they still all kept slaves, and they wouldn't talk about it. And Ben Franklin would get up and say, come on, you guys, you got to handle slavery. No, they actually made a law just for Ben Franklin. You could not talk about slavery in the U.S. Congress to shut Ben up. Of course, kind of hard to shut Ben Franklin up, but they did that for a long time successfully. Try to shut up Muhammad Ali or me. And we don't shut up, us, 27-degree Capricorns. Anyway, here's the long and short of it is, they managed to keep him quiet until March 16th, 1790, when Ben marched into Congress, threw down the sign saying you can't debate slavery, and he spent the day debating slavery in public against the law in Congress, March 16th, 1790. Now, he's born on January 16th, but, okay, so here's the middle of March, March 16th, a month after his birthday, 2 months after his birthday. The sun is sextile his sun in the chart. He goes into Congress and says, screw you guys, I want to talk about slavery. Then, a month later, on April 17th, 1790, when the sun squared his sun, he died. So, the slavery issue, he said what he wanted, didn't he? Okay, here's the 1751 Poor Richard. And Ben says, courteous reader, astrology is one of the most ancient sciences, held in high esteem of old by the wise and great. Formerly, no prince would make war or peace, nor any general fight a battle. In short, no important affair was undertaken without first consulting an astrologer, who examined the aspects and configurations of the heavenly bodies and marked the lucky hour. It says, now the noble art, more shame to the age we live in. And that's what I'm saying to you today, folks. Shame to the age I live in. Sun sign astrology. It's used for little teenagers to flirt. What sign do you have? All this stuff is terrible. Shame to the age we live in. Astronomers grabbed all the credit for everything. They won't even use the word. Shame to the age we live in. Now the noble art is dwindled into contempt. Yep. The great neglect us. The empires make leagues and parliaments laws without advising with us. It's what did she do for President Reagan when he started his speech? Well, that was a little bit of help, but nevertheless, shame to the age we live in. And I'm stuck in that today, my friends. I realize this, I just spent 20 years and slowly taught all the basic astrology. A lot of it's all oriented around people. What's that? Of course, that was a big thing in Europe when Ben went over there to get money for the war. All the ladies wanted to know whose Mars is near my Venus, and Venus and Mars and all that stuff. And, so Ben would entertain them and then get them to donate money for guns and powder. But, gosh, astrology is not about personality, folks. It's not about sun sign. Astrology is about marking the lucky hour when you start things. And that's what the app is at SkyMirrorAstrology.com. $5-10 for your iPhone or your iPad. And bang, you've got the tool you can use to start things on the lucky hour. Okay, I'm going to show you the Antikythera mechanism. Antikythera is just a little village in Greece where off the coast they found a sunken ship, and there was this mechanism. It sat for a long time in the museums until somebody x-rayed it, started figuring it out, and it turns out it's amazingly complicated. And it turns out there's like 80 gears in here. And what does it do? It gives you the chart of now. You can dial in any time you wanted. This was a box about a foot square cubed, and this is 2,000 years old. This is what a rich astrologer or a king could buy, and it would tell him where the sun is, where the moon is, where all the planets are, where it was his private little computer, okay? And this thing worked, and there it was, sitting there under the sea for 2,000 years. It's been there. Look at this. Here's my Antikythera mechanism. Yes. Here's the app. Here's the way it looks. Here's this. I just tap a finger, and here's the chart of now. Here's right in my hands. I got the thing right here. And it's cheap. $5-10. Go to the App Store. SkyMirrorAstrology.com. And you can have this stuff at your fingertip. Now, Jim did this, started from scratch, and all these calculations got high-blown I mean, this is really accurate stuff. They even count in the elevation you're at. Yes. So, this is, there's my location. See, it has a GPS feature, so it tells you right where you are. And then it does the chart of now, right where you are. Now you can run this chart forward a little bit. You can run it back, see? You can, and when should I leave? When's the lucky hour? There, Jupiter and Venus, right on the rising sign. Looks like it to me. Whoo-hoo. Antikythera mechanism. It's all about the lucky hour. It's not about somebody's face, personality, investigating the people. No, this is a professional tool to find out when to go on things, when to launch your rocket, stuff like that. Inside story on this app. First he was going to name it Pocket Astrologer. And when he tried, somebody already had a patent on that name and said, you can't use this. So he called me up and asked me if he could use Sky Mirror. I was honored when I saw what this man did and what a beautiful Antikythera mechanism tool, he built. I realized this is the time to change the whole thing. Let's go back to what this tool was for, when to start things. SkyMirrorAstrology.com. If you put a /TV on it, you'll get my website. And $5-10 for your iPhone or your iPad. Jim says it works better on the iPhone because the letters and stuff are all built for the smaller screen. If you put it on an iPad, they get to be a little fuzzy, but he's improving it all the time. And once you've got the app, all the improvements, you get notified and you get upgraded. Wow. Think about the Antikythera mechanism. 2,000 years ago, men wanted this information. Now for $5 or $10, you got it at your fingertips. Thank you, Jim. This was an amazing accomplishment. All the math he did, computer whiz genius. Yes. This program is produced by me, Rollin Frost, at my home with old, used equipment. You could do one too. Public access cannot charge for airtime. You do it yourself at home, they have to air it. Free speech, No, not the station or the cable or any of these guys are responsible for this except me.